Hey guys, DSKxMonkey here, and today we will be having a regular Moonlight commentary. I'm not planning any type of series for today besides this one, of course. And I just wanted to talk about a little something before I actually talk about a serious topic in RF. This will be on a separate video that I will have later in the week, maybe, depending if I have time or not to actually record it and think it through and make a lot of, stuff. Because I'm going to talk a lot about the current state of RF, let's put it that way. And what I want to talk to you guys right now is the mentality of old gen and new gen. I just want to say right now, if you call someone a new gen, it's not a it's not a disrespectful thing. It doesn't matter. You're just calling him that he hasn't played the game as long as you have. It doesn't really mean a thing. Oops, lag there. Doesn't mean a thing. And a lot of old gens have the mentality that new gens are inferior to them. I mean, I understand. In theory, old gens should know more about the game, but in a lot of instances, the new gens are better than many of the old gens. So, like I said, it's no disrespect whether you call someone a new gen or not. It doesn't end up meaning a single thing. And a lot of these old gens also complain how RF is too easy now and all this garbage. They always say, oh, each new update's just releasing garbage. Back in my day, they did this. Back in my day, they did that. It was way harder back in my day. There was legends back in my day. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And I understand because I used to be one of these guys when it came to Guild Wars. I would say back in my day we wouldn't use stats. Back in my day we wouldn't use exos. We would be 4-on-4, no stats, no exocores in fucking blacktop melee. But of course the times change. We actually got a Guild Wars system, so now that's something you have to be ready for. You have to have stats. You have to know how to use every exocore. Now you gotta change. And that's what I want to talk about. Like, a lot of these old gens are not advancing in the meta game, and every game's gonna have updates that would change it. So I don't know why this game is the exception where people are like complaining and like, oh, blah blah blah. Because everything takes the same amount of skill. I feel like if I use a new scroll I'm an old scroll right now, I'll still be good with it. If I use a new scroll, I'll still be good with it. It doesn't matter if it's easier or not. It does help slightly, but if you know what you're doing, you should be able to pull through regardless. And all these exocore bans in Guild Wars as well, I think it's kind of stupid because in reality, I don't think we should be banning them from Guild Wars itself. I mean, you guys don't ban attack booster, and that's literally a new gen exocore as well. You don't, and you let that slide. You let attack booster slide. It's literally the most powerful exocore when it comes to Guild Wars and team games because it just kills everyone instantly if you're able to dash them correctly, and then the V combo is really good to prevent you from getting hit and juggle right afterwards, or then doing the dash right afterwards as well. Like, attack booster is literally the most overpowered, the most used, the most looked after, sought after exocore when it comes to Guild Wars, and they don't ban that. They let that one slide. Like, I don't get the mentality there. You think it's not as overpowered as these new exocores? I think it's does the same damn thing. It serves the same purpose. They're all strong exocores. I don't think you should limit yourself to fighting just the old exos allowed. You should actually strive to use these new exocores. I understand the one exocore limit per team, but I don't understand why banning all the exocores altogether just because you don't like playing against them, just because you think they take less skill than what you're actually using. If we really just look into the Guild War meta game right now, it's basically the same exocores over and over and over and over again. Do you actually think those take skill? They don't. They don't take skill. Let me break it down for you, because they're the most used, which means they're the strongest exocores when it comes to teams. So they're better suited for the 4 versus 4 Glacier, 4 versus 4 Dose, 4 versus 4 Risky, whatever. Whatever format you're playing, you're obviously using those because they're the best. Are you saying that these. So, what I mean is, you're complaining about overpowered exos, yet you're using the overpowered exocores of that generation, of the ones that you allow to be used in a guild war. It makes no sense if you're going to be complaining about overpowered exos and then you're never changing the way the game works. You're never changing your tactics. You're always using the same exocores to guild war with, which are in turn the strongest of their generations. It's literally hypocritical if you're going to ban the new generation exocores from guild wars if you're using the strongest exocores of your time. I really do not understand. If there ever is a Rumble Royale again, I don't think Red Fox is actually going to play by your rules. As I remember in OG Planet, they started it off in Royal Rumble 1, and there was always multiple exocores, so the exocores of that era were definitely Devil Shadow and Zero Discus, or the dominant exocores, and everybody would have them in their team, and they would just spam and they would infinite with Devil Shadow, etc. And then the second one, that's when they introduced the one exocore limits, and they didn't really introduce that many bans because, of course, like, you're kind of allowed to use almost everything there is to your advantage when it comes to these tournaments. And if there was a Royal Rumble right now, I believe that they would allow these new gen exocores. And then by the time they do allow those, you guys might not be prepared for what's to come. You might not know the meta. You might not know what works the best together when you introduce these Red Fox Gang Games Campus exocores. You might not be ready for them. I mean, I reckon like that the guild warriors that would participate in a Royal Rumble are good, so they'll probably know how to use the exocores. But I feel that it would be better for them to practice them in a higher competitive format than just using them in regular glacier rooms, because you're not fighting like good people in those rooms most of the time. You're just fighting above below average players or average players, so you're not really getting a true competitive feel to it, which is why you might not be prepared for an upcoming Royal Rumble that allows all these things. And then let's stop talking about the exocores, but let's talk about the scrolls. A lot of people do say that it's too easy now, like I mentioned already, that it takes no skill to win nowadays, but it does take skill. And a lot of people that complain about these these new items do not even know how to fight them, which makes them in turn weaker and less skilled than the person who actually uses them because he knows how to use them. Ooh, I'm surprised they live there. Sorry, I'm just concentrating a little bit. I mean, this guy does lag slightly, so I gotta be sort of concentrating there. So I was able to kill him, not too bad. But as I was saying, these new scrolls are good. Yes, they might be easier than the scrolls back in the day, but let me break it down to you like I did with Guild Wars. What are the most dominant 1v1 scrolls right now? Shootboxing, Zen Taekwondo, Rage, and other handful of old scrolls. So old scrolls are still dominant, whether you think about it or not. They are literally still good. They are on par with these new scrolls, and there's a lot of people that complain about it. Now, of course, 1v1ers are really good at this game. They're probably the most skilled out of everybody in this game because they know how to use, oh, they should know how to use every scroll, and they know how the game works. They know how to drift, they know how to dodge your stuff, they know how to counter your tactics. They're in theory the greatest players of the game when it comes to individual skill and scroll knowledge, I would say. But when it comes to other things, they might not be the best because, of course, there's other formats of this game, and for the most part, it's not a 1v1 based game. It's a free for all game or a teams game. So, of course, not every 1v1er is good in Glacier, Guild Wars, and such like that. Some are evolving, some are realizing this because back in the day, being hypocritical here, a lot of 1v1ers were not good in any other map. Not Moon, not Glacier, nothing. They would just be really good in Blacktop itself. But now I've noticed a change, which is good that they're transitioning to Glacier because I mean no one 1v1s anymore. No one cares. There's only a few people that still strive for top 10 or to be god 1v1ers. But it's not really a thing anymore. It's a thing of the past. So I'm glad they're evolving slowly, but a huge percentage of the community is definitely not evolving. You could tell by how everybody who was good back then is still dominating the game right now, and that's because of their past knowledge and either because they still use the old tactics efficiently or because they've actually advanced themselves into the metagame. Now there was a phase of mine where I wouldn't use exocores. I wouldn't use ramming, and I would say no ram, no exocores, and I would call people noobs for doing those things. Now, I know that was a little childish, but that was my way of thinking back then. Like right now, I complain about times two panics and turtle shells and stuff like that. I still complain about rams and exocores because there is some times where that's the only way they're killing you, you know? So yeah, you might still complain about it, but my I don't mind if they ram. I don't mind if they use exocores. I don't mind if they use times two panics or turtle shells. That's good. I'm the one that's not evolving here. But that's basically due to my preference. But I can use times two panics and turtle shells. I mean, it's not a big deal. I just don't prioritize them. I still don't even prioritize ramming. So that's something that has stuck to me. But I should evolve. I'm telling you guys to evolve. I'm out here semi-evolving, not going through to my fullest potential because if I go to times two panic, I'll be able to survive longer than I usually do. That's the point of times two panic. It's to survive longer. It's to stop yourself from getting killed once you already used your first and only panic. Turtle shells are there for you to be able to turn around when you're blocking, turtling, and dodge moves that could potentially kill you. And you position yourself into a way better spot when you have a turtle shell, back item, whatever, because of your ability to move without being stunned, without being moved into a position where you can't defend yourself. Times two panics are great, and that's why Ralph Jones does these things. He's realized this a long time ago. He's always been evolving, and he's always been learning how to actually fight the new things whenever he would be on, and he would always dominate regardless because of his own individual skill level and knowledge that overlaps every other player in this game. He truly is, I believe, the best player there's ever been in RF and there's ever will be. Because I don't think this game's gonna evolve any longer. It's just gonna stay in the same loop that it's always been. And that's unfortunate, but that's how some things go down at times. And all I'm trying to say really is that you should strive to improve. You shouldn't just be stuck with that mentality that, oh, I'm an OG and I'm technically better than you. I've played this game longer. Well, you're not. A lot of new guys could probably beat your ass still. A lot of people who actually use the new gen tactics to sound good are actually the worst of the old gen population that's still here. They're not really that great. And I just feel that everybody should learn to evolve and use what's coming. Because if you don't, you're never going to change. Your skill level is going to be the same. It's just the same thing over and over and over. And I don't think you should feel shame for using exocore like Berserker, Phantom Core. It's fine. I mean, I know I complain a little bit about them as well, but like Ice Age, I mean, it's very powerful if you don't have the right tools to counter it or if you don't run. The only downside I would say that actually prevents people from evolving is fighting laggers. But in a philosophical sense, they do help you get slightly better at the game because you have to predict the lag sometimes, and then once you know how the lag works, you should be able to kill them even if they lag. Like their lag won't be a factor. And I know I still complain about laggers because I just feel that they ruin the game itself. But in all honesty, I could play with laggers. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that I could beat them. It doesn't change a thing. And that's kind of all I wanted to talk about right now. The new gen, old gen mentality. I think they're stupid. You should just keep evolving. You shouldn't even use that as a diss. It's not a diss. You're, it's a diss to the old gens themselves for being this long into the game without having quit. That's a true diss. You're the big no life here, man. Are you stronger than Arceus? Of course, dude. Arceus gets like fucking one hit KO'd by Mewtwo or something like that, man. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I know I might have repeated myself a couple times and maybe I was not that clear. But regardless, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to 90 that like button, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.